Welcome to our shir on Torah Anytime. We are up to Perek Tezayin. If I remember correctly, yeah? We're up to Tezayin. We finished off with David HaMelech, even though he was a fugitive running away from his own son Avshalom, he set up a espionage system. He had Tzadok and Avyasar and his Yonis and Tzadok's kids, Avyasar HaKehanim, and then he set up Chushi Reya. He had a friend Chushi, who he set him up that he should go into Avshalom's camp. He should join him and he should destroy whatever advice Achitophel would give. He set him up as an espionage. Anyway, V'David avar me'at meharosh. So David HaMelech is going away from Har HaZeisim. V'nei Tziva nar mepi boishes lekrasei. Tziva, who is a servant of Mephibosheth, is coming towards him. Now, if you remember that Mephibosheth was the crippled son of Yonasan, his best friend Yonasan, who David HaMelech took him into his melucha. He had him sit by his table. He gave him servants. He took care of his crippled son out of loyalty to his friend Yonasan. And Tziva, who is a servant of Mephibosheth, comes with Tzemet Chamorim Chavushem. He has this pair of donkeys with saddles. Va'aleya Masayim Lechem. They have 200 breads, loaves of bread. Umea Tzimukim, like 100 of 100 something of raisins, or let's say like how do you say when you have a bunch of grapes, you have like a bunch of raisins. Umea Kayetz. And 100 summer fruits, like dates, summer fruits. V'nevel yoyin, and a pouch of wine. What is this? The donkeys are for your wives and children, lirkoi, to ride on them, because you just ran away in the middle of the night, you need to have a way to travel. And the bread and the summer fruits is for the na'arim, is for your servants to eat. And the wine is for those that are coming fatigued from the midbar, from the desert. Where's Mephibosheth? Where is your master Mephibosheth? And he calls him Ben Adonecha. Ben Adonecha means that the son of your master, meaning he's telling Tziva that his master is Yonasan. Ben Adonecha is Tziva, is that Mephibosheth is Ben Adonecha. Where's Ben Adonecha? Not that Mephibosheth is his master. Yonasan is really his master. He's sitting in Yerushalayim, and he didn't escape, he didn't come along. He said, look, Avshalom is going to get killed because he's a ben murdered, and he's rebelling against his father. Eventually, and David is going to, David is going to fall apart. Avshalom is going to kill David. Avshalom is going to be destroyed as a surgeon and murdered, and the Melucha is going to return back to me because I am the heir to Shaul's kingdom. Which, if you think about it, is pretty ridiculous, because Mephibosheth is a cripple. He's not going anywhere. When he asked, and where's Mephibosheth? Where's Mephibosheth? He's a cripple. He's not going anywhere. And to think that Mephibosheth wanted to take over the Melucha is also like preposterous almost. He's a cripple. The reason why he wasn't ready to be a melech, everybody knew he can't be a king. He's a cripple. There was no way he was going to ever become a king. But Tziva was a Masaper Lashon Hara. Tziva wanted to take advantage of the situation to screw his master, Mephibosheth. Vayomer HaMelech leTziva, Hinei lecha kol hashal Mephibosheth. You can have everything that Mephibosheth owns. You can take it away. It's all yours. He bows down and he says, thank you, my Lord. Bottom line is, Tziva threw his master Mephibosheth under the bus. He took everything that Mephibosheth, I don't know if Mephibosheth sent it, but he took advantage of the situation to find favor in David HaMelech's eyes in order to turn it against Mephibosheth, that David HaMelech should think that Mephibosheth is not loyal to him because he's in a very, very vulnerable situation. And obviously David HaMelech suspects everybody that he's not loyal to him because Achitophel left him, and then the Sanhedrin. So David HaMelech was Mekabel the Lashon Hara that Tziva told him. And here comes one of the most gewaldige lessons in life. Uvo HaMelech David at Bachurim. And David HaMelech comes till Bachurim. Now, do you remember where we had Bachurim before? This is my own Torah now that I'm telling you. Bachurim was the place, if you remember the story of Michal and Palti ben Lish cried when he was escorting Michal back with Yoav back to David HaMelech, and he escorted her till Bachurim. Ad Bachurim. That was the name of a city, Bachurim. And he cried. And Palti ben Lish was crying, Ad Bachurim. I just remembered because I had this whole trip on it that Ad Bachurim means till he was a Bacher. That means Palti ben Lish, Chazal say that he never cohabitated with Michal. And he came back to a place of Bachurim, means he came back to a place of being a Bacher. And he cried. And it's a very tragic story with Palti ben Lish. Now I don't know what it means, but over here, Ubo HaMelech David ad Bachurim, he's coming back to that same place of Bachurim. Somebody comes out from the family of Shaul. Ushmo Shimi ben Gera Yotza Yotza. Shimi ben Gera comes against him. Now Shimi ben Gera is Shimi ben Gera is the head of the Sanhedrin. Umekalel, and he's cursing David HaMelech. V'yisakel ba'avaner, as David, V'eskol avdei HaMelech David, he's throwing stones. That means he's like on the next mountain over. He's throwing stones. He's throwing David HaMelech surrounded by his Giborim, by his warriors, and they're being pelted by stones. By Shimi ben Gera, who was an extremely prominent, important person. And this is what Shimi said when he cursed him. Leave, you bloody person, you say Ish Adamim, you're man of blood on his hands. You're the one who spilled the blood of Avner, Ish Boishes, Uri Achiti, Ish Abliyal, and you're a disgusting, disgraceful human being on the story of Bathsheba. Bottom line is he's still exaggerating, because I don't think, in the Psukim at least, David HaMelech had nothing to do with, definitely not Ish Mephibosheth, nothing to do with Domer Shel Avner. And the story of Uri Achiti, there is something to it. But bottom line, he was highlighting all of the failures that went on in David HaMelech's Melucha, and he was pinning it on him.
Is that like stuff that Avshalom was spreading around?
I don't know. Maybe.
This is a complete uprising.
It's a complete uprising, but this is like when he was on the bottom of the barrel, and he said, Heishiv Alecha Hashem, Kol Demei Beishol Hashem Alachtav Tachtav. God is repaying to you all of the blood that you spilled from the house of Shaul, that you took over. Vayitan Hashem es HaMelucha biyad Avshalom benecha, and God gave over the kingship in the hand of Avshalom your son. V'hincha adayim b'rasecha, you didn't even do tshuva. You're not even recognizing, you're not even listening to the message that Hashem is telling you, and He's punishing you for all of the evil that you've done, and you're just remaining the way you are. Ki ish domemata, because you're a man of death. And therefore it doesn't affect you in any way. So really what's going on over here, it's on the one hand, there's truth to what Shimi ben Gera, you have to understand, Shimi ben Gera is according to Chazal, was the head of Sanhedrin, and he was an extremely prominent, learned, connected person. And when he was saying this Musar, there was something to it. And David HaMelech himself knew, and we saw it before, that the reason why he ran away from Yerushalayim is because he knew that because of the story of Uri Achiti and Bathsheba, and the curse that he got from Nas Nanavi, he knew that this is coming, that this is all destined to be. That's why he ran away. He knew that this is payback. And Shimi ben Gedi was actually laying it on thick. He was exaggerating. And it seemed like he didn't have David HaMelech's best intention in mind. He seemed to want to humiliate him and, push him over the edge. He obviously hated him because he was loyal to Shaul. Plus, I'm just connecting it on my own, that he was also in Bachurim. It was also in that same place where Palti ben Lish cried bitter tears that Micha was taken away from him. This is just something you need to remember, that in Bachurim somebody cried. In Bachurim somebody cried, that Tzaddik cried, that his wife was taken away from him.
We're saying it's a place, or it doesn't?
Bachurim is a place. And at that same place, the same location, David HaMelech is crying now. When Shimi ben Gedi is laying it on thick. You see in the Psukim, why should this dead dog curse the king, my master? Let me go over to the next mountain and I'll remove his head. And he could have. Now could you imagine the situation? David HaMelech he went through so many roller coasters and finally he came to a high and he finally made peace with Avshalom. He brought him back home, and the son that Avshalom brought him back home rebelled against him. People are turning against him. His advisor Achitophel went. Shimi ben Gedi, who's the head of Sanhedrin, is now blasting him. It's in the place of Bachurim where Palti ben Lish cried. He's being, everything that Nosson Navi told him was going to happen is actually happening. And one person stands up for him and he says, let me just chop off this guy's head. What do we have between me and to do something that I don't want to be done? Let him curse. Let him curse as much as he wants. And if you're thinking, how could it be that a great person like him should curse? Ki Hashem amar lo yikalel. Hashem is the one who told him to curse. Ki Hashem amar lo yikalel is David. God told him, curse David. Umi yoyma madua sisokein. And who should tell him, why did you do it? There was a Yid in Yerushalayim, one of the greatest tzaddikim in the last generation, was Rabbi Usha Freund. Usha Freund. Usha Freund was the Rebbe of all the Meshuggahim in Yerushalayim. He was the Rebbe of all the misfits, all of the derelicts, all of the Tzibrachim Yidin, Rebbe Osher Freund. This is one of his famous lines that he used to live with, this pasuk. He used to always tell people, came to him, that this guy backstabbed me and that guy hurt me, and it's that Rebbe did this, and my mother did that, and my father did something else, and my boss. People did things that caused me pain, they abused me, and he always used to say, Ki Hashem amalei kalelas David. Nobody curses you. God sends people to curse you because He wants you to perceive a message. Now it's irrelevant if the person who's cursing you, what his intention is. You have to know that nobody cursed you. Nobody ever did any evil to you. No Rebbe, no parent, no friend, nobody did evil to you. Ki Hashem amalei kalelas David. You can't even tell this person why. People want closure. It's one of the big things, like people who were molested, or people went through abuse, or people went through this. Everybody's busy with closure. You're going to find the person, you're going to ask them to their face, why did you do what you did to me? When in reality, Hashem Omalei Kalelas David. God wanted David HaMelech to comprehend something, to understand something, and David HaMelech is accepting it. He's saying, Hashem Amalei Kalel. It's not Shimi ben Geda. It's not him, he's just a shliach. There's a message that is supposed to come across to me. My own child that came from me is rebelling against me. And I see that it's God that's behind it. And now that I'm running away from him, and Shimi ben Gedi is Ben Ayamini, he's from Shevet ben Yaman, that they're my enemies. So they see that I'm being chased, and of course, so God said he should curse me. Why? Ki Hashem amaloi, ki amaloi Hashem, because Hashem told him, because it's for my sins. There's a message I need to understand. There's something I'm being taught. And Kula yira Hashem be'enai. Hashem should see the tears that are running down my face now from the tzad that I have, and that I'm accepting the pain that I'm going through as a kapara, as an atonement. And Hashem sees that I could have killed Shimi ben Gedi, I had the opportunity and I didn't. And I'm accepting life on life's terms, and I'm accepting it the way it is. Ve'eshev Hashem li toiva tachas ki lelosoi hayom hazeh. May God return to me for the shame that I'm going through, and that I didn't react, and I'm accepting it. Please, Lord, give me a toiva. Turn this curse into a blessing today for me. It's a moedike message. It's crazy message this. David HaMelech had like the worst things possibly happening to him, and he's taking responsibility, and even when he knows the person who's cursing him is wrong, he's just still going into a zone where he could accept it as a learning experience.
That's when he wrote down.
Tillim is...
We assume he was writing down.
Right, now, and this is one of the nachs that I had, the Steinsaltz nach, has in the back the kapitlich of Tillim, which correlate to different parts of the story.
When they were written.
When they were written. I don't have it here.
It makes sense now. He's having a hellish experience.
So you can find out which...
So,
it makes so much sense, all like the negative...
all the kapitlich Tillim come, and if you, in the Steinsaltz, they tell you like, okay, at this point, this is the kapitel Tillim that was written, and you read the kapitel Tillim, and you have the context behind this, you have the story behind that, and it's like, wow, this is gewalt. It's like, wow. Yeah, if we would learn Tillim in the context of Navi, of what was going on, and then we would read along the Tillim from the space and the place where David HaMelech emotionally or spiritually was at, and you can relate to it, and then we could connect it to our own situation that we go through. Like Reb Nachman says that every Tillim has to be an I Tillim. Like an iPhone, Lavdul, an I Tillim. Tillim, it's in the back, and in the last shtickle in the Kutei Moharan, he talks there about, I think so. He talks about David HaMelech, the whole Tillim is David HaMelech's boydedus. Reb Nachman says that the whole Tillim, what's Tillim? Tillim is not a... Tillim is David HaMelech's boydedus. David HaMelech went and he spoke to Hashem. Poured his soul out. It was, David HaMelech never said Tillim. David HaMelech spoke to Hashem. It was recorded, and that became Tillim in order to give you an opportunity that you should also be able to speak to Hashem in your own. So when you read a kapitel Tillim, you have to turn it into I Tillim, into I message, into your story and your message. Anyway, Vayelech David v'anashav b'derech. David HaMelech continues on the way. V'shimi hoylech b'tzela ha'olim. Also, Shimi is going against him on the other side of the mountain. Hoylech v'yikalel, he's cursing him. V'sakel ba'avonim l'umasa, he's pelting him with stones. V'ifar b'oifer, and he's throwing dirt on him. Now we return back. The scene cuts back into the city where Avshalom takes over. The king comes to the Bachurim, and they rest over there. So Avshalom and comes with Achitophel back to Jerusalem. Huh?
Ready?
Sorry?
What's the Melech?
Yeah, Vayav Melech is still David. And they're just resting. After the story, they reach Bachurim. Shimi ben Gedi curses him. He accepts the cursing. He doesn't kill him. Finished. Now Avshalom returns back. David HaMelech absconded, right? He left. And Achitophel, who's the wise advisor, is with him. So Chushi is the implant. Chushi is David HaMelech's friend, who came back to the palace in order to, quote unquote, join Avshalom's camp in order to bring information and to destroy Achitophel's advice. Avshalom tells Chushai, seriously? You're telling me Yechi HaMelech? Now, he doesn't say Yechi HaMelech Avshalom. He says Yechi HaMelech. Yechi HaMelech means long live the king. Which king? So, well, Hushai probably means long live the king David. But at least it's enough general that it could mean Avshalom. So Avshalom says, that's how you treat your friend David? Why didn't you go with David HaMelech? I don't understand. I thought you're friends with David. I thought you're friends with my father. Why are you hanging around here? Nobody likes a backstabber. Nobody likes somebody who drops a friend in his time of need. Chushai told Avshalom two reasons why. One is because it's not like I love David HaMelech for being David. I loved him because he was the king. Now that he's not the king, why should I go afterwards? And therefore, it's not Loi that I should go to your father. Ki asher bachar Hashem. I'm here with the people. I'm here whoever God chose, and God chose you. All the Jews who aren't here should come here. And I'll be here because I'm here with the program, I'm here with the Melucha, I'm here with whoever is king. And the second thing is Vashenis, even though I do love him, but it's not like I'm rebelling in your father. Because Lemi ani avoid, who should I serve? Haloi lifnei benoi, I'm going to serve a son, kasher avadati lifnei avicho, kein eya lefanecha. Just like I serve the father, so I will serve the son. And you're his son, and Mamela, I'm getting transferred over. Bottom line is, Avshalom buys what he's saying, and he accepts him to remain in the court, which is a very important part. That Avshalom buys into Hushai's allegiance, Hushai's allegiance to Avshalom, and now he accepts him to hang out in the court, which is what David HaMelech wanted. I think one of the biggest limudim from David HaMelech is this. There's so many things, but one of the big things is that David HaMelech, even when life is on the bottom of the bottom, it can get worse, he still does whatever he could in the situation, in the moment, to act wise. So even though he knows that Nasan Hanavi's kalalas are happening, and he knows that it's the story of Uri Achiti, he knows everything, and he knows that Shimi Ben Gedi is a message from Hashem, but he also did moves to get Tzadok. He also did the moves to make sure that he has Chushi inside.
Level-headed.
He was level-headed. He did what he had to do under the circumstances. That means even when it was messed up, you know how powerful that is, that when life is messed up for you, you still do what you can do under the circumstances. It's massive. We usually throw in the towel. Usually when life is messed up, we're like... Yeah. So now Avshalom tells Achitophel, Havu lochem eitza ma naseh. Give me advice what I should do now. And Achitophel is an esteemed advisor. Avshalom, here's what you got to do if you want to take over this kingship. Boi el pilakshe avicho asher iniach lishmoi raboyez v'shama kol Yisrael. You have to go cohabitate with the Pelakshim that your father left over, and everybody should know, because that way, they're going to know that you're severed, you're done, it's verstinken with your father, it's over. If you go, the way part of the power was that whoever becomes king took over all of the previous king's wives and Pelakshim. If you're going to go have relations with the Pelakshim of your father, then everybody knows there's no way of reconciliation, and everybody's going to know that they got to join you, and you're going to win. It was a way of consolidating power. It's going to strengthen that whoever's with you is with you all the way. So, now here's another curse of the nevuah of Nasan Hanavi, which is coming true from the story of Uri Achiti. So they brought on the roof, which is on top of the roof, they put up a tent. Everybody knew that there's a tent on top of the roof of the palace, which Agav, if you remember back in the story, David HaMelech's whole story of Bathsheba started where?
The rooftop.
On the rooftop. So it's on the same rooftop where David HaMelech
First
saw Bashava on that same rooftop, Avshalom is setting up a tent. So obviously there's a tent for privacy, but obviously everybody knew when there's a tent that everybody could see, and they see Avshalom bringing in Pilak She'ovav into the tent, everybody knew why, and everybody knew what that meant, and that meant that it's over. There is no way that Avshalom is reconciling with David after, there's no way back after such a story, after you take Pilak She'ovav. And the advice that Achitophel gave in those days was a sure eitzah. Kasher yishal ish bidvaro eleikim kein kol atzas Achitophel gam leDavid gam leAvshalom. That means Achitophel's advice was like a bullseye. When Achitophel told you something, you knew that it's going to be. David HaMelech trusted Achitophel's advice just like asking the Urim v'Tumim. And this losing Achitophel was a huge blow. And Avshalom took Achitophel. He knew that whatever Achitophel says to do is going to win. And he accepted it. Which is why David HaMelech prayed and he sent Chushi. And he said, please Hashem, let him destroy the Atzas Achitophel. That's why there's this line. Atzas Achitophel means when somebody gives you bad advice, it's called, or evil advice, it's called the Atzas Achitophel. And that, my friends, is the end of Perek Tezayin. Chaim.